Welcome to the expose, The New Jim Crow by Michelle Alexander. Michelle Alexander is a longtime civil rights advocate and litigator. She won a 2005 Soros Justice Fellowship and now holds a joint appointment at the Kirwan Institute for the Study of Race and Ethnicity and the Moritz College of Law at Ohio State University. Professor Alexander served for several years as director of the Racial Justice Project at the ACLU of Northern California and subsequently directed the Civil Rights Clinic at Stanford Law School, where she was an associate professor. Alexander is a former law clerk for Justice Harry Blackmun on the U.S. Supreme Court and has appeared as a commentator on CNN, MSNBC, and NPR. The New Jim Crow, Mass Incarceration in the Age of Colorblindness is her first book. Professor Michelle Alexander has done her research with this monumental expose, a well-disguised system of discrimination. Clearly, our government agencies have set forth a system of legal discrimination that touches every form of our society, especially as it relates to blacks, African Americans, and other minorities protected under civil rights laws. This information is and should be frightening to anyone who cares and has a stake in the American ideal of democracy. Clearly, those of us on the civil rights and human rights side of doing the right thing and the smart thing for all Americans, we have a lot of work to do. Some would think that this was a planned and well-developed design to keep America's black male population in a status lower than a second-class citizen. Professor Alexander shows how the civil rights laws that ban Jim Crow laws in many states has once again been presented and implemented within our criminal justice system, especially in depriving American citizens basic civil rights. It has systematically placed black men into a caste system that is worse than the laws used during 1877 till 1963, known as Jim Crow. Professor Alexander will go on to show through her writings how the Department of Justice, state and local criminal justice systems, along with local police departments, Wall Street, and the U.S. prison system across the United States has used the war on drugs to incarcerate African Americans and other minorities, clearly outlining a war on America's blacks and other poor Americans. Evidence will go on to show, without a doubt, that America's war on drugs and its policies, rules, and laws has been racially defined, even though studies show that drug use happens in all segments of our society. But it clearly and almost exclusively shows that the war on drugs, which was designed to help the ebb and flow of drugs within our nation, is a failure. Initially, the war on drugs was designed to bring about an awareness to the American heartland, cities, towns, and our neighborhoods. Clearly it is a failure. Even though Professor Alexander states clearly that it is difficult to show evidence of actual discriminating factors, the statistics within our own government's records show and prove that discrimination is being welded now, primarily within the inner cities of America, where there is a large minority of African Americans, blacks, poor whites, and other minorities that are being disenfranchised in the thousands. Her work clearly shows how the criminal justice system and local police departments across the United States has discriminated legally in warehousing and disenfranchising African Americans and other minorities, to include poor whites. The question, what can be done? Well, do the research. Read the book. Call your local representative, fraternal organization, club, church, synagogue, mosque, urban league, the NAACP. Buy the book and communicate this information to everyone who will listen. Thank you.